everyone at the Future Marketing Academy. I'm Elizabeth Ann West, and I am CEO of the similarly named but very different Future Fiction Academy. I'm here to talk to you about your first AI marketing assistant. And without further ado, I'm just going to jump into the presentation, and then we're going to jump into prompting so that you have actually tangible items that you can use for this presentation. So let me go ahead and add to the stage our screen here, and let me just go ahead and present. Present full screen, go. All right, so your first marketing assistant, saving time and money with ChatGPT. Although we're not going to just talk about ChatGPT, because there's actually quite a few different AI tools out there. So let's talk about what we're going to go over today, just the little bit of today's agenda. We're going to talk about what AI can do and what it can't do. We're going to use artificial intelligence to change a marketing template, specifically an email template. Maybe a lot of you guys do these kinds of classes and stuff a lot, and you get these great email marketing templates, but you just don't have the time to make the changes. We are also going to talk about constructing that prompt. So you're also going to learn the basics of prompt construction. And finally, we're going to also look at creating a marketing action plan. At the very end, I will give you a special sneak peek at our own special tool that we have since launched with the Future Fiction Academy, but it is only available to Academy students. Okay, so who the heck am I? I'm author Elizabeth Ann West. I began publishing in 2011, so I'm one of the OGs of the indie publishing world. It turns out I speak robot. So I started publishing with AI in December of 2021. And for those of you going, wait a minute, but ChatGPT didn't come out until November of 2022. You're right. I started with AI, artificial intelligence, a whole year before the world found out about ChatGPT. Since then, I have worked as a prompting consultant, and I was a community manager for a while there for an application called Sudowrite. They were one of the early ones in the market with creative writing as their focus. They launched in June of 2021. And now I have my own school called the Future Fiction Academy. You can reach me at the email address dean@futurefictionacademy.com, and either myself or one of our other founders will answer you. We are very interested, first and foremost, about teaching our fellow authors about how AI works, how it doesn't work, and how you're able to harness it. So let's go ahead and talk about that. So number one, AI doesn't think. And I want you to see this galaxy of stars over here and just kind of keep that in mind. So the artificial intelligence, it's not even really correct to call it that these days. A lot of people get really upset about that who are in the tech sector. They're like, it is not artificial intelligence. It is generative AI. What the heck does that mean? It's a dictionary slot machine. So what they did is they took billions and billions of pieces of training data. And many of us may have seen people having concerns about, was my book used for training? Was my website used for training? Was my art used for training? And I want to talk really fast about what training involves. I would love it if training meant I just took my book file and I gave it to the AI and I said, here, read this, and now you know it. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. What you actually have to do is, I call it Jeopardy. That's the best way I can describe it, because what you have to do is you have to take slices of that book and maybe even just only one or two lines. And then you have to come up with a prompt that would make those lines happen for the AI. And you have to do this over and over and over again until you have millions and billions pieces of training data. So these models and stuff have been worked on for almost a decade at this point with the training data and everything like that. So what would that look like? Okay. I actually write Jane Austen fan fiction for my career. That's one of the genres of fiction that I found the greatest success, because it's my favorite genre to read. My first book was actually contemporary romance. I've written in a couple of different genres, but it's a truth universally acknowledged that a gentleman in possession of a great fortune must be in want of a wife. You know, one of the most famous opening lines of literature. So if I was trying to teach the AI that particular line, which is and if I butchered it, I apologize, because I'm not reading a cue card here. But it's close to the opening line of Pride and Prejudice, the first line there. It's a truth universally acknowledged is a cliche that gets used in articles and all kinds of different things. But if I wanted to train the AI on it, I would have to give it that piece of information. And then I would have to say, okay, write an opening line for a 19th century family drama novel. And then I wouldn't have to just do that book, but I would also need to do Sense and Sensibility. I would need to do a whole bunch of different books and opening lines over and over and over again, so that the AI would understand this concept of what is an opening line of a 19th century novel. So like I say, training is not as simple as Here's my book. Please just read it. You actually have to process that book into a bunch of different pieces. Okay, so AI can be great though at writing ad copy because, like I said, it trained off of the internet and a bunch of public domain stuff. And advertisements are one of the biggest things that the AI read. So what it does is it actually selects tokens using what's called vector search. Now, we know old search as being keyword search. So if you've ever searched for like a stock photo, for example, on a website, you probably typed in apple or girl eating apple. And what it did is it gave you a whole array of photos that would have, girl eating apple or apple involved, maybe some oranges, maybe some bananas, just whatever. Vector search is each one of these pieces of training data actually lives. I want you to imagine like a box that has a galaxy of stars inside, but it's not just 3 dimensions. It's actually like infinite dimensions. So each piece of training data is a star in this galaxy. And then the vector search, the artificial intelligence, literally can jump from star to star. So when you give it a prompt that says, describe for me a rose bed, it's one of my go-to prompts when I'm teaching this stuff. Very simple prompt. It'll start to select a token. Token is a piece of a word. So it might say A, that's a token. A rosebed, that's 2 tokens. A rosebed is, that's 3 tokens. And then before it selects that 4th token, it's making the decision based off of the 3 tokens before it. So it's really just a dictionary slot machine. If there's 1,000 tokens in the response, which is about 750 words, it did 1,000 calculations in order to give you those 1,000 tokens. So we have to think of it as a very eager assistant. It's not actually thinking. So even if you've played with ChatGPT and you're like, Elizabeth, this thing thinks, it doesn't. It's actually only able to select tokens in one direction. It cannot go backwards and revise, at least not yet. It cannot go backwards and revise what it already wrote. So if it selects one of those tokens, like a low percentage token, say in a sentence, we call it going off the rails. It'll just give you like this completely bizarre response that you weren't expecting. And if you have any questions about that, feel free to email me. So our first task that we're going to do is change a template. Okay. So most marketing classes give you templates to change. And AI is really, really good at that because, again, it's a token prediction. And if you're going to give it half of the tokens and it's just like working like Mad Libs to fill it in, the AI is just like primo primed to do that for you. So you do not need magic words to prompt an artificial intelligence, believe it or not. These are large language models. So you, being a language expert, can do this. It does require a little bit of changes in your habits. For example, you want to be more specific if you can. We don't want to use pronouns as little as possible because the computer may be confused which he or she or they you're talking about. So you want to be specific in what you're asking for, and you just want to be clear, almost like you would give these instructions to a junior human assistant. So here's an example of a great prompt. Read this template. I need it changed. Here are the details I want added. Make sure it reads well for this audience. Add any pizzazz or ideas you have, and I need this many. Pretty simple 5-step process, and we're going to actually put this in practice in just a second. Okay, so let's talk about costs. All right, I want to talk about this before we hop into Playground and talk about this. Most of you are aware of ChatGPT Plus is $20 a month, and many of you are probably paying for that, and that's great. I'm going to show you a new tool tonight that is called the Playground, which is still available through OpenAI. Now, some benefits of Playground is it's pay as you go. It's pay as you use it, and it also gives you different access to different pricing here than the $20 a month. It gives you access to GPT-4 and 3.5 Turbo. 32K is not currently available publicly. Now, remember I said 750 words is equal to 1,000 tokens. Now, let's talk about this. The pricing and why this matters, because it kind of messes with your head a little bit if you're not used to thinking about fractions of a penny. Some of us really are because probably your first experience as an author with fractions of a penny came in the form of how much a page read is in the Kindle Unlimited program. If you are a participant in that program or you've heard about it, you'll know that a page read, I think at this moment in time, is about 0.4 of a cent. So it's 0.004 roughly is what they pay per page read. And so that means if you were comparing that to the cost of 3.5 Turbo, you can get 750 words with 16K Turbo for the price for the payout of one page read in Kindle Unlimited. if you're trying to like figure this out. GPT-4 is 10 times more expensive. If you are doing the 8K, it is 3 cents per token for your prompting and 6 cents for your completion there. So looking over here, you can kind of understand the difference in this pricing. If you were to prompt 2,000 words, which is about 1,400 words, 14 to 1,500 words, the prompt itself would in GPT-4 would cost you 8 cents. The completion, if you were making it write you 2,000 words, would cost you 16 cents. Compared to using 3.5 Turbo, if you prompt it 2,000 words, you're only going to pay not even a penny. That's 80% of 1 penny. And then your completion would be 1 penny. So the prompt that would cost you 24 cents with GPT-4, that same prompt of 2,000 words, and if you got 2,000 words out, then that would cost you only 2 cents to help understand the difference in the pricing here. All right. So without further ado, now you know a little bit about the pricing. So I always like to be upfront about the money. Let's go ahead and prompt. So let me escape out of that. And we will go hop right over into OpenAI. So this is OpenAI's main site. And what I didn't tell you too is that there is a resource that's going to be available for you. I should have showed this at the beginning. This resource, I'm going to make this link available. You'll have the link down in your conference materials and everything like that. That's going to give you access to the presentation I just did, which wasn't that complicated, but it's still nice to have as a resource. You also have access to our YouTube channel for Future Fiction Academy. I write live every Friday there. We have a bunch of different videos all about writing with AI, marketing with AI, all kinds of things. If you want to join the Future Fiction Academy, we do have open enrollment. And then it has all of your links, all of your prompts, also screenshots of what we're going to do, including screenshots of that pricing and everything like that with more information. And we're going to walk through these prompts here right now. So when you go to the OpenAI website and you click login, which I'm going to go ahead and do, you're actually now presented with these 3 options. Now, many of you are probably used to just clicking ChatGPT if you have any experience with OpenAI. Some of you may have also played with DALL-E a little bit and found out that DALL-E is not as good as Midjourney if you're playing with AI art. The new DALL-E 3, however, just dropped this past week, and it can add text to images, kind of better than so far than we've ever had before. But I want to point out this section over here called the API. This is what I'm talking about when I say go learn playground. So let's take a look at the API. So this is going to give you information about your account here. And when you click on it, you are able to set budget constraints and also your payment forms and all of that. But we're going to click right here for playground. Now, this is the playground interface. You'll see that it's very different from the ChatGPT interface in that it's not going to save all of your chats for you. That's not what it does. You can have certain presets that you set here, but it's not going to save your conversations. It's going to be on you to copy and paste. If you're going, Elizabeth, why would I want to do that? ChatGPT saves everything. Yeah, but ChatGPT doesn't give you the options that Playground does. So Playground's really great for if you're ever sequencing prompts, if you're ever doing a prompt more than one time, because it gives you access to this system section. Now, system is very similar if you're used to ChatGPT and you pay for the plus to something called custom instructions, which dropped about a month ago. However, system has always existed. And then you can do user prompts here. You can also add a message and pretend to be the AI and actually force the AI to think it already started helping you on something if you need to kind of like seed its thought processes, which is a very advanced prompting skill. We're not going to do that today. All right, so over here on the right-hand side, I get to choose my models. We talked about that GPT-4, 16K, and Turbo. I'm going to go ahead and use Turbo 16K. Now, it also gives you these hyperparameters on the right-hand side. Temperature controls, how random is the AI allowed to be? Does it have to be obedient? Does it have to follow your prompt exactly? Or can it be wild and crazy? So the higher up you go, you're going to get just gibberish. The lower you go, you're going to get probably stuff you can't use. Let me give you an example. If I do my whole describe a rose bed, remember I said that was one of my go-to prompts. At temperature 0.14, a rose bed is a carefully cultivated area where roses are grown. It's typically rectangular. A rose bed's bordered. It reads like a encyclopedia, you know? That's what happens when you bring the temperature really, really low. It's not going to have a lot of variation to it. If I bring the temperature all the way up, we're going to get gibberish. Are you ready? And it did not do that. Oh, yes, it did. Central leaders are trained, supporting the rosebud's ability to grow dense sprays. How did the 1.8 not mess up here? Usually it's absolute gibberish. What did I do? There we go. That's more like it. And that just demonstrates another thing about working with AI. You're not going to get the same response twice. At any time, the AI can act a little bit different than what it expects to do. And here I got an error, which is fine. I just wanted to show you that if you bring your temperature all the way up, you get some really wonkadoo tokens, because again, it picks a token and it goes to the next token and the next token and the next token. While we actually have ability to do this completion, which is a legacy model, this is an old, this is the older form before chat existed. And the models here include DaVinci and Curie and stuff like that, but we'll use Turbo Instruct, which is a newer model that just came out. If I come all the way down here to the bottom and I click show probabilities, the full spectrum, and let's bring our temperature to the middle. We don't want it super crazy. But if I click submit for it to describe a rose bed, you'll see that it's color coded. And this helps to illustrate what I'm talking about it picking these tokens. So if I hover over the letter A here, this is a token. If I click on it, you'll see that A was 99.53%. That was the percentage that it calculated for that token. It also considered the, and I don't know why this one's different than that one, but it is. And then when I click on rose bed, this is actually two tokens, rose and bed. So rose was 99%. It almost considered beautiful and basically decided, no, that's 0%. And then bed right here is 99 and is. Now here's where landscape comes in. And it's interesting because it decided that landscape is 0.95% token. So here's a situation where it didn't pick garden or small or carefully or designated or section. It picked LANDSC. And that has to do with what our frequency and our presence penalties are at and things like that, or the temperature. So that temperature being a little bit high, it went a little bit different. We've got some red thrown in here. Now, the second it chose that token, it kind of was locked into APED. If you guys can look at this, if you start off writing LANDSC, there's not many words that can connect, or many tokens that could connect to that to make a word. So it almost made APED like had to be the next one. So a rosebed is a landscaped, and then once you had landscaped, once you had a rosebed as a landscaped, areas percentage went up as well. And that's how you can see things, because let me show you the same word twice. So here's the word the right here with an 86% percentage. And here's the word the over here with a 96% percentage. So it's not always that the same token has the same percentage assigned to it. It literally is calculated based on the previous tokens already selected. It's a really important concept when you're working with the AI, and it's hard for people to kind of understand it. All right, but let's go ahead and get that email changed. So I'm going to just take out these things. You just click the subtraction button here. And let's go ahead and grab that prompt that I have. So I'm going to first put something in the system, and I'm going to also put this template. Now, what I do, I'm just going to copy it, and over in my OpenAI, I'm just going to paste it right here in my system. And we're going to talk about it. You are a marketing expert. You read a marketing copy template and change it based on the needs of your author. Now, you'll see right here I have template in square brackets. I recommend you use square brackets for tagging different sections of your prompt for a couple of reasons. This goes back to the training data, okay? And we are language experts. If you think about other punctuation that you might use to say, hey, this is a tag. For example, in HTML, if you have any HTML experience, you're used to the little angle brackets. But there might have been training data that had the angle brackets in there. So it could possibly get confused and think that you want HTML, because these large language models also know code. Let's talk about parentheses. Okay, sometimes we use parentheses to set stuff off. But in the training data, it's also going to have parentheses for citations, any papers that it read that had citations at the back or inline citations. People also use parentheses as an aside. It's a punctuation mark that is used for other uses than what I'm trying to use it for, which is to make a container of information. So square brackets. Square brackets are traditionally used for an array, which literally is well, a container of information. So by using square brackets, I find my prompts do a lot stronger and a lot better with LLMs than other people who want to do really complicated JSON coding or any other kind of markup, because it can get confused in the LLM. If you prompt it with JSON coding, it might write you back JSON markup. And if you tag it with angle brackets, it could get confused and try to send you back code. So we at the Future Fiction Academy recommend that you use square brackets, and that's why. So anytime we have a piece of our prompt that I want the LLM to have context, like it's like a Tupperware container of information in here. It's almost like mise en place for a chef. If I'm making a prompt, I need all of my nice, neat little containers on the cutting board before we get started. So I have template, and then I'm gonna at the bottom here close template with just this little slash and closing off that bracket. Now, other times you'll see author's name. I don't have a bracket, and that's because I don't need to. It's really just saying that the author's name goes in there like a Mad Lib. And you'll see here for social media links. So what I have here is I just basically have a template that I took a template that the AI wrote, and I bracketed it in areas where something might be a variable that would be put in. So let's go ahead and rewrite this. So I'm going to come back over here to your prompts, and remember how I said you could just use plain English? That's what we're using. So I'm not even getting complicated here. I'm going to put social media links so it'll understand to put that for where it says social media links. So my author's name is Elizabeth Ann West. My new book is The Moralities of Marriage, Book 6. This finishes the series where Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth finally have their baby. I'll give that information. Author website's elizabethannwest.com. And here's a retailer link, which is actually my author page. I don't ever link to a specific book. I always link to my author page on Amazon, because that way readers can get more than one book, because I see how many books I have. So what this prompt is going to do is it's going to use this persona. It's going to take this template and it's going to fill this information in. I'm going to bring the temperature down because I want it to listen to my instructions. So we're going to bring this down to probably about a 0.8. And the maximum length is fine. This is how many tokens it's allowed to write back to me. It has a context window of 16,000 tokens, which is about 12,000 words that it could do in the same conversation. You cannot access this in ChatGPT. This is only available in Playground. This is the cheap one too. This is the one that only costs fractions of a penny to use. I'm not going to worry about changing any of the other parameters, and I'm just going to click submit. And so now it's going to take that template, exciting updates from, and we'll take a look at it in just a second here. Okay, so you'll see that it started to fill in the holes for me already for things that I needed to fill in. So the subject was exciting updates from author's name, Elizabeth Ann West. Dear wonderful readers, I hope this message finds you well. So it kept all of the same right there. First and foremost, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so new book alert. It says title of new book is right here in the sample one. And it actually put in here, Moralities of Marriage, Book 6 is now available. Dive into this captivating conclusion where Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth finally have their baby. Join them on their journey filled with heartwarming moments and joy of parenthood. You can find it on Amazon at retailer link. You'll notice I don't have a retailer link here because it just didn't put that in there. So it just missed that, that's just sometimes happens with the LLM. If I was to add another message here, let's go ahead and say, great. I always like to tell it if it did a good job. Please make sure to add in, do I have my email address in there? I don't, so it doesn't have that contact information. So let me put that there. Well, it doesn't need that. It knows it. Be sure to add in retailer link, and now write me an email for my readers geared towards Thanksgiving. Let's do that. And I'll just click submit. Now, as soon as I click submit, what the AI is doing is it's reading system. It's reading what it's already up above. And now it's doing this again. So now it brought in information about Thanksgiving. I want to take a moment to express my gratitude. If I add another message, I can say, create for me a list of 5 emails in a sequence I could send to fans of Jane Austen fan fiction to warm them up on my mailing list and help them learn my catalog of 25 books. Okay, let's see what it can do. And I'll put that prompt in your thing. So here it gives me email 1. Here it gives me email 2. And it's putting series names. It's basically putting all the holes for you. Here is email 3. And it'll do email 4. If it runs out of maximum length, it'll cut off and you can just say continue just like you would in ChatGPT. Okay, and that one's almost finished. So it wasn't quite done, and I would just say, please continue. And it's going to read up and it's just going to finish off that message. Oh, it hit the maximum. Oh, because I was in turbo. That's why it's not being the brightest. Okay. I changed the model to 16K and now it is. And so now it's finishing it off. Here's a roundup. And it's going to say put a list of all 25 books. So there we go. If you have any questions, warm regards, author's name. So you can use AI to create for you templates, to tweak templates, or to fill templates in. It's actually a very powerful tool that you can run and you can sequence and you can have those things happen. Let me grab that prompt for you, the one that I did about the 5 emails in a sequence. Now, for the next part I wanted to show you, we could stay in Playground. This was just a bonus prompt. Whenever I teach live, I do some crazier things. Let's come over to good old ChatGPT 4. Now, the reason I wanted to show this tool specifically is because some of you may be like, Elizabeth, I'm not going to play with Playground. I'm not going to take the time. I'm not going to bother. So what I wanted to show you instead is let's go ahead and take a look at ChatGPT's availability to make us a marketing plan, shall we? So I have a prompt down here. Write me a marketing plan to promote book 6. I put the date. By the way, this is not the day my book is coming out. And I'm going to give it a list of marketing tools that is available. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw this in GPT-4. I'm going to put this prompt in here. And remember, we use plain English. Write me a marketing plan to promote book 6 in my series. The book title is The Heart of Marriage. I want a very detailed marketing plan for the first 30 days, also including 2 weeks before the book releases. Then I want marketing plans up to 90 days from release. The book is releasing October 29th. And then I gave a list of the marketing tools that it can use. And once I click that, oh, by the way, it calls me Goddess Divine. It's a joke because that's what I have in my custom instructions. The Future Fiction Academy members were like, do Goddess Divine. And so I did that. And then I wanted to change it out and they were like, no. So we all snort at that every single time. But I think it helps. It helps keep us, life is fun. And it's never been really kind of a cooler time to be alive with all this new technology that's coming down the pipeline. Now, I don't know about you, but one of the things that always trips me up when it comes time to sitting down and doing my author stuff is coming up with a to-do list, right? And I think AI can be a fantastic to-do list creator. You can give it your parameters and you can, again, it won't think, but it can put stuff into logical order. It can do that a little bit because it does no code, or at least gives you a place to start. Sometimes it is still the junior assistant and you have to look at it and go, okay, that does not make sense. So let's take a look at this. Because I told it the book is releasing October 29th, it decided that the pre-release is October 15th through the 28th. So it's identifying this thing called a pre-launch, which many marketing experts will tell you you should do or consider doing. So it's telling me exactly what to do in those weeks. It's telling me exactly what creatives I need to create, what activities I need to do. Amazon ads, initiate a keyword targeted campaign to promote the pre-order. I don't have the pre-order because I don't have pre-order privileges, but that's a whole nother story. And then video teaser trailer, putting something out on TikTok and YouTube. Then the week that it comes out, week before it comes out, excerpt in the newsletter. I actually blog my chapters, so I would change that, but this can do a great example. Contests. Beware of contests. A lot of times the AI is going to recommend that you do a contest. Please make sure you understand what it takes to do a contest and you're not running an illegal sweepstakes. That's a really important thing to understand. You cannot make purchase, in the United States at least, you cannot make purchase a required way to enter a contest unless you also have another way for people to enter that is completely free. That's why when every time you see a contest or something advertised online or in TV, teeny tiny little print, it'll say no purchase necessary, void where prohibited, and then it'll tell you like this little PO box in Nebraska to send for your postcard or whatever to enter in free. Okay, so here's the launch. First 30 days, October 29th through November 4th. Amazon Day 1 reviews. Encourage early reviewers to post on Amazon. Facebook ads. Daily updates. Share daily updates about the book's progress, ranking, reviews. That's actually something I have done before. I have thanked my readers as like at the end of the first week, I'm like, y'all, you did this. And I share the link and all of that. And I say, please consider leaving a review. It helps authors, or it helps readers coming behind you. That kind of thing. I wouldn't necessarily do Pinterest, but you could do all kinds of different things here. And then it just comes up with all this other stuff. If I want to tweak it, I can say, great. You know that. You can always respond back with a tweak. I really want to focus on using AI media and photos and online engagement with my readers. What can I do? Let's see what it says. And certainly, now it's talking about these AI. So create the videos of my characters. I don't know if any of you've seen some of these. D-ID will actually make videos from a still image of a talking head. Some of them are a little creepy because the chin doesn't move with the eyes, but that's just getting better and better. We also have a thing here on gamification, creating interactive online quizzes. Now, you could literally make it give you a quiz. If you uploaded your outline or something like that, or your story Bible information about your book, you could ask it to create you an online quiz or game or something like that for your book. So there we go. This is, I think, a very valuable tool for when you are just in a quagmire of all the things you can do and you just need help coming down with a plan. Even if it's not a plan you follow exactly, it can give you those broad strokes that you can then make decisions about and tweak to what you need. So like I say, it's a great AI marketing assistant. The last little place I want to go to is actually Canva. And this is going to be a very quick demo. You have a link to, actually, I have it open over here. You have a link to my favorite Canva person on YouTube to teach all of this cool stuff. He and his partner have a whole library of videos all about using Canva. So right here, for example, if we go and add new, actually, I'll do it this way. So here I was working on just an Instagram. And so this is just pages. These are just images. And actually, these were generated with AI. If I want to add a page, you can come to Elements in Canva and generate your own. And let's go with elegant dinner set in 1812 English country dining room. Long view, luxury. And let's make it filmic for the style. And I'll go ahead and create my image because it's going to create me 4 of them that I might choose from. And they give you about 500 credits. So you have 500 credits. So here we go. I kind of like this one, but this one's a little bit more interesting too. So let's go ahead and do this. We'll drop that in and we'll make it bigger. Bloop. So now that we're making it bigger, we'll put it right there. And I want to grab this stuff right here, Control C, and paste it in. The table is set. Let's do that. Now, I am not the best at doing these little things. It's more just to show you how is waiting. Let's do that. So this is just you're invited. Dancing with Mr. Darcy. The table is waiting. It's just an idea to make quick little TikToks. What's great is if you take the time to actually make these little stills, and I'm going to actually just move this down just so that they can see the table. So I think it was kind of covering up the table. They have this magic switch, everyone, in this top left-hand corner. You go magic switch and you come down and you're like, I want it as a mobile video. Click continue. It just turns it into a video. You click copy and resize and you click open for that. And now you have a quick little video. And the other cool thing that you can do is we don't want 5 seconds on each one. So let's bring it down. Let's bring it down to like 3 seconds for each one, because that's about the time it takes people to read things. So if I do 3 seconds, come back to the front, click animate. Magic Animate will actually animate all of the elements on your images here. So, oh, I got out of it. My bad. Hold on a minute here. You have to be on the front page to do it. Where did it go? I just lost it. There we go. Okay, animate. Page animations, Magic Animate. And let's say I want elegant. There's also a whole bunch of other ones right here. There's handmade. We'll go with handmade for this one. And once I apply that, it's going to apply it to all the different pages there. And then if you want music, again, your elements or your audio is right here. You can do nostalgic piano, which is what I did. And we'll just drop the music in. And now if I just play this video, we have a TikTok. Now, this is not the greatest TikTok, but I literally did it in about 3 minutes. And it was through the use of AI and through Canvas tools. It's one of the easiest ways, I think, accessibility wise, to get into AI. So, all right. Well, I want to thank you all for watching this quick presentation. There is so much you can do with artificial intelligence for your marketing. We have a YouTube channel called Future Fiction Academy, where we're always showing kind of the latest and greatest. One thing I did want to kind of share with you guys, I promise you a little sneak peek. So we have our own specialized software. And just to give you an example, if you remember when we were doing the playground and it was kind of clunky, you have to copy and paste and all of that. Well, here at Future Fiction Academy, we have what's called Rexy. And Rexy is our little baby dinosaur, because we call it being a T-Rex when you let the AI write for you. And what's neat about Rexy is that he is a bring your own key model. So you bring your own key for OpenAI, you bring your own key for AWS servers. We also encourage use of Open Router AI, which allows you to get access to those not safe for work models. So if you want to use artificial intelligence to write marketing copy or newsletters that maybe include dark romance or reverse harem or menage and stuff, and Claude or OpenAI aren't working for you, Rexy can help you. So we have actually a library of prompts, and we're working on more prompts as we speak. So the prompts are all here for all of our members of the Future Fiction Academy. And we actually have a whole section on marketing that we're building out. But let's go ahead and just create a very quick plotting one real fast. There's a reason for my madness here. I'm just going to run 2 prompts for you and show you kind of a cool thing. So I'm going to load this prompt about act structure from ideas. So it's just read these ideas, then create an outline. So I want a 3-act structure, and I want contemporary. Let's do contemporary romance, pets, and use specific names. Now, once I save that, I can always construct the prompt for me, but I can also just click construct. I'm going to go ahead and use 16K just so it's quicker. So we'll process 16K, and it's just going to go ahead and write that outline for me. Very, very simply. The other thing that I can do, and this is my bad, I was naughty, but I'll show it for the next part. I forgot to load a project. So that one's finished. We have these projects. So as you're working on different pen names or anything like that, you can actually save things to a project. I'm going to go ahead and load that project, just a blank series, and we'll go ahead and save to Auto Notion, which is fine. This will auto write to my Notion, and I'll show you what that does. So now I'm going to go to my completion page, and I have this outline, and let's say I love this outline. I'm going to click this button and save it to my S1. Now, why? Because now I can go back to my library with no copying and pasting, and now I'm ready to do some marketing. Let's pretend I love that outline. That outline's the best outline there ever is. I come into marketing and publishing, and there's actually a prompt in here to get your blurbs. We also have some Midjourney ones. So book blurbs and back copy. How many of you hate writing that? Now, it's not going to be fantastic. It's going to give you that rough draft. It's going to just give you that start. So I'm going to load the prompt. And when I load this up, instead of outline right here, I'm just going to type in S1, because we have these elements over here that it'll save whatever was the completion from before, and it's right here in S1. So it's a very simple change. Read this outline for this genre. It was contemporary romance. And then write me a best-selling book blurb and back cover copy and all that. So let's go ahead and process this. And Now it is writing me that book blurb from the outline. So I don't have to do it. It didn't have an author name, so it's coming up with that. And then it has the back cover copy. We'll take a look at it in just a second. But that part where I didn't have it on Notion, what I wanted to show you is that it's automatically saved to my personal Notion here, the information from the AI. So you don't have that in ChatGPT. You don't have that in OpenAI. You don't have that in a lot of tools. They constantly want you to have to download or copy and paste. We have it right to your Notion so that way you can organize things a lot simpler. But let's go ahead and validate it and see if it's any good. It's probably just a rough draft. Let's see here. We'll do the back cover copy. In the picturesque town of Oakwood, love is in the air, and furry friends lead the way. Join veterinarian Emily Sanders as she navigates the complexities of life, love, and the unconditional bond between humans and their pets. Emily's a devoted veterinarian, dedicated to her work and the animals she cares for at the Sanders Veterinary Clinic. But when an abandoned kitten named Max finds his way into her heart, Emily's world is turned upside down. Max's arrival sets off a series of events that will change Emily's life forever. As Emily tries to balance her demanding career with her newfound responsibilities of pet ownership, fate brings her face to face with the charming Dr. Ethan Adams. Sparks fly. Okay, I'm confused right now. How is Emily not a doctor too? But there's biases in the AI. You always have to look for that too. Sparks fly between them, but will their connection be strong enough to overcome the challenges that lay ahead? So this is a very basic blurb because I didn't give it any extra sauce or anything like that. And I also didn't validate the outline. But the idea here is that these toolings are available for you. So if you have a good outline, which most of you do, even if you're a pantser, after you write your book, you can use an AI to actually like summarize your book and get your own outline. You can use it to basically make your book copy and all of that and make things a lot easier. Anyway, so that's the sneak peek at Rexy. Rexy is only about 2 weeks old. He is only exclusively available to Future Fiction Academy users, and you can also see a whole bunch about him on the YouTube channel. So I promised you that sneak peek, and that was the sneak peek. But I hope I've given you enough information that you feel armed to go out there and play. Go out there and test the artificial intelligence, the LLMs. I hate calling them AIs because they're not really AIs. They're just dictionary slot machines, and see if that'll help you with your marketing. Until next time, bye.